Press review: Putin announces run for re-election and Moscow mulls sanctions against WADA. More, http://tas.com/press-review/9799521. After months of expectations and rumors, Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced he will run for re-election in the March 2018 presidential race on Wednesday evening. The head of state made the announcement while speaking to workers at the 85th anniversary of the Gorky automobile plant, Gaz, in Nizhny Novgorod. Putin's announcement is the talk of the town for the Russian media on Thursday. According to RBC, the announcement did not come as a surprise. The Kremlin did not manage to stir up intrigue, political consultant Dmitry Fedisov told the newspaper. According to the expert, the surprise was only the time and venue of the announcement. More. Head of the political expert group think tank Konstantin K.N.B.T linked the sudden declaration to Russia's recent ban from the Winter Olympics by the IOC. The Kremlin predicted this decision in advance, and the president answered it. This all looked like he was the president of the people and relied on the people, not on the elite, he told Nezavisomaya Gazeta, noting that Putin's statement changed the news agenda. Director General of the Center for Political Information Alexei Mukhin told Nezavisomaya Gazeta, Vladimir Putin's opponents, both inside and outside of Russia, whose activities pose threats and risks to our country, provoked his nomination. He spent 2 years thinking about running for a fourth term. However, at a difficult time for the country he could not back down. A decision is expected in such situations. The expert added that the nomination itself had no element of improvisation. According to RBC, the venue for the announcement is related to the Kremlin's desire to show Putin's support among all audiences. The choice of the Gorky automobile plant for the statement is the authorities' bet on the right social environment making him the people's president, K.N.B.T told RBC. People, human resources, the future, the youth and the new generation. An RBC source close to the Kremlin listed the main topics of Putin's future campaign. A source in the government told the newspaper that demographics and the nation's youth would be the key focuses of Putin's campaign. The newspaper expects the campaign to concentrate on social issues. A broad demographics program is addressed to quintessential Putin voters, families with children, middle-aged and older women, mothers, young families, the newspaper wrote. According to Izvestia, Putin outlined the main thesis of his campaign, speaking at the Gorky automobile plant. The announcement was made in direct dialogue with the public. There will be many other similar meetings and events ahead. We will see that the president's decision to run has very wide public support, head of the ISPR fund Dmitry Badovsky told the newspaper. Putin's voter base is extensive, the problem lies in mobilizing it, Vidomosti wrote. The older generation votes, but there are problems with middle-aged and young people. They have their own opinion, but they do not consider participating in the elections to be mandatory. They need some kind of stimulus, Top pollster chief Valery Fedorov told the newspaper. So far, the president did not say whether he would nominate himself from the United Russia Party or run in the elections as a self-nominated candidate. According to K.N.B.T, this decision can be announced at a major annual press conference on December 14. According to K.N.B.T, plans to select Putin as a self-nominated candidate have not yet been changed. The Russian presidential election will be held on March 18, 2018, and the election campaign should start in December 2017, after the election is officially set by the Federation Council. The upper house will make the decision before December 17. After that, within 25 days, political parties must inform the Central Election Commission about their candidates. LDPR leader Vladimir Zhirinovsky, co-founder of the Yabloko party Gregory Yavlinsky, TV hosts Ania Sobchak, business ombudsman Boris Titov earlier announced their intention to run in the presidential election. Russia will look into possibly imposing personal sanctions against the leadership of the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA. This issue will be discussed on December 12 at a special joint meeting in the Federation Council, where Russian athletes, MPs, diplomats and senators are expected to participate, high-ranking sources in Moscow's parliamentary circles who will take part in the forthcoming event told Izvestia. Head of the Federation Council's Commission on Protection of State Sovereignty Andrei Klimov confirmed that retaliatory measures would be considered, noting that most WADA member states are NATO countries that systematically discredit the image of Moscow in the international arena. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Arkady Dvorkovich confirmed on Wednesday that the government deliberated on creating special tools for capital repatriated to Russia that belongs to sanctioned individuals. According to K.N.B.T, the government was instructed to place such funds in new issues of Russian euro bonds in 2018. The quota for them could amount to around $1 BLN. And if necessary might be increased to $3 BLN. At the same time, the sanctions securities may need to be serviced in Russian depositories without Euroclear. Sources in the Russian government told K.N.B.T that repatriation bonds in November 2017 was indeed discussed at meetings among government officials and staff from the presidential administration. The sources know the volume of potential requests for placement, around $1 BLN, and the maximum pre-announced amount of demand for repatriation tools reaches $3 BLN, which implies that it is not a question of returning the largest fortunes to Russia. So far, no final decisions on the use of this system were made and are not expected before February 2018, the newspaper wrote. From the description of the mechanism, it is quite obvious that its meaning lies not so much in protecting the repatriated funds, as in preventing Russian banks from getting infected with sanctions when dealing with this money, K.N.B.T wrote. Within the next 3 months, whether or not the banking and financial structures set to deal with this capital will be subject to sanctions remains unclear. In 2019, Russia's GDP for the first time in history will exceed 100 trillion rubles, $1.7 trillion, according to the macroeconomic forecast of the Economic Development Ministry for 2018 to 2020. Currently, the figure came to 92 trillion rubles, $1.5 trillion. According to Izvestia, the Russian economy in the next 3 years will grow due to industrial production, construction and investment. Experts add agriculture and the projected consumer lending boom to act as a driver of growth. The demand for loans is expected to grow at an accelerating rate due to the slowdown in inflation and a decline in the central bank key rate. Based on the Economic Development Ministry's forecast, construction appears in the list of economic growth drivers for the first time. In recent years, the industry has seen a decline. According to the State Statistics Service in 2016, it sank by 4.3%. Another driver is investment in fixed assets, which in the next 3-year period will increase at an average rate of 5.3%. According to Deputy Director of the Development Center Institute at the Higher School of Economics Valery Mironov, other sectors will make a large contribution to the growth of the economy. In my opinion, agriculture, mining, the defense industry and some branches of engineering will be among the engines for economic growth, he told Izvestia.